back to the Monday Marketing Minute. I am your host, Lindsay Sewell. You are familiar with me, but today I am super excited because I have special guest here with me, Jaycie Cormac-Neyland. She is an expert in understanding why us creative people, and let me know, tell me in the comments if you identify with yourself being a excessively creative person, right? Put creative in the comment. Hello, Jessica. Hello, how are you? And say hello as you jump on so that we know you are here tuning in live today. I actually am so excited about this topic and about our special guest that I am streaming this in multiple places. So it's going live in a couple different places because I wanted to make sure as many of you as possible could benefit from this conversation today. I actually did a post yesterday sharing that we would be doing this today. And I can't tell you how many people commented on that post and said, oh my gosh, that's me. I stop things, I start things, I get shiny object syndrome. I want to go in a bunch of places and directions all at once. And so this talk is for you today. So let us know in the comments if you identify as a very creative person. So that we know that you're here with us. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest, Jaycie Cormac-Neyland. Tell us a little bit more about what it is that you do.
Well, hello, and thank you, Lindsay. I'm super excited to be here as well because, yes, squirrel, we all know what that's like. We absolutely know what it's like. And you and I, when we spoke the other day and first actually started to have a conversation with each other, we were like, oh my gosh. Yeah, again, it's one of those times where we get each other, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. So what do I do? Well, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, not to give away my age, but so basically since I was 18, 19 years old. And I've always been involved in something that was creative. And yes, I too have done numerous things. And I understand what it's like to do something and create success and then be excited to go do something else or be confused with too many ideas because I'm like, well, I could do all kinds of stuff. So what I have now begun to do is actually turn my business coaching to work with creative entrepreneurs that have that experience, that we're super creative, but you need to be able to apply the necessary practical aspects, but in a fun way with a fresh approach that keeps you excited so you can have the success you want. And something I'm super passionate about is ultimately being able to live life and work on our terms.
Ooh, yes. I think everybody who's on here right now, give us some love hearts if you're like, I came into entrepreneurship, online business, because I wanted to live life on my own terms and be able to make my own decisions and choices. Hello, Elisa. Hello, Doug. How are you guys? I was just talking with a client earlier today about making choices because a lot of times we are passionate about many different things. And she was mentioning how challenging that can be because she's like, but I love all these things. So what makes us creative entrepreneurs kind of different from the rest of the world?
We're weird. No, I like that though. It's actually a good thing that we're weird. Well, literally, we won't geek out too much, I promise. I will just say, though, that my absolute favorite class in college was biopsychology. So I loved biopsych. Weird. Maybe I'm just the nerd on that, right? But literally, our brains are wired kind of differently and everyone has some creativity, right? It's not that we're the only creative people in the world. There's just different levels of creativity. And so we have different neural networks, different pathways, different roads and bridges in the brain, right? So not every one of those networks will work and fire at the same time. The more creative you are, the more likely, there's 3 in particular, different networks that start to work together when you're a more creative person. And so when you tap into that higher level of creativity, they have scientifically found where, oh, this one's working with this one, they kind of synchronize. So when we have that capability, it just changes things. And guess what? Also, when we're in that creative state, we all know that we all have adrenaline, right? So we get that released into our system. And we like that. We thrive on that. And so it keeps us pumped up as well. So we just literally work a little bit differently than it doesn't make us better than somebody else, but just what probably is the average.
Yeah. It's funny you mention that because I've gone through periods in my life where I've had corporate jobs, and as soon as I get kind of good at something, I'm like, need to switch companies, need to switch
Mhm.
departments, need to do something different. I think I changed my major 5 times in college. And often I notice that people kind of roll their eyes when I tell them that I'm doing the next thing. Anybody in the
Mhm.
comments, let us know. Do you have friends and family members who are like, oh, what's next? What are you up to now? Because that was me. So let me ask you this question. How do we use this to our advantage versus letting it kind of deter us or create challenges in our life? Because I mean, I probably could have been further ahead in my corporate career if I
Mhm.
wasn't bouncing around all the time.
Right. And I get that completely. You and I had this conversation, like I said the other day, because, oh my gosh, way so long ago, when I was in high school and trying to decide what career path to take, I had 3 or 4 different things. And I've
Mhm.
achieved and done actually a number of them. But just as you said, we get to a level of success. And then when the excitement, I say we're like serial daters. Because we're like, oh, it's new, it's exciting, yay, you're finding out all this new stuff, it's a challenge. And then you're like, and you want to go meet someone else. Now, obviously, not all of us are like that, and I'm happily married, but
As am I.
yeah, right. So, but still, when we get to a level of success, we need a new challenge. We need to be able to expand because we have so much going on up here that the repetition of the same thing day in and day out, even if it used to be a challenge, now that we do it pretty well and easily, we become bored. So we have to learn how to find something that will keep us excited. And so instead of just ditching, because my first company was a dance studio, right? And I remember I owned it for 15 years and I was very successful. And this was, like I said, my first one. So I opened it at 19 years old. I was a baby. But then I don't know, my mid 20s probably. I was like, I'm supposed to be doing something bigger. And I knew I was doing amazing work actually, because it was so much more than just teaching dance. But
Yeah.
so had I understood then what I know now, I could have leveraged everything. And I was kind of doing that back then. So you have to figure out, okay, how can I expand the work that I'm already doing, the clients, the connections, all those different things, the experiences, the knowledge that you know in that arena, if you will, or on that stage, without
Mm.
completely throwing it away and starting over. Or even if you completely change what you think is a totally different career, you just have to learn how to pull from those experiences that you had, because we don't actually have to leave any of that behind. We take those things with us. And for me, one of the core things that I finally realized was like, oh, I'm always a leader. I always end up being in a leadership role. It doesn't matter what I'm involved in. And it's not that I need to be in control. It's just I'm a good leader and I'm willing to take the responsibility. That a lot of people don't want to do that. So when
Mhm.
you figure out what those things are about you, you can either continue with the same career path or same company and just learn to expand it or shift it a little bit to make it keep you excited and still be successful. That's a key, is to find what those things are so you don't lose everything else. Does that make sense?
Ooh, I love that. And it's funny you say that because I found myself in that role as well. And no matter where I went, I kind of always got assigned or identified as somebody who like, hey, you're going to train on this or you're going to teach this to people. And so I always found myself in that teacher trainer role. And I was just talking with somebody this morning about saying, what's your area of conviction? And I've always had a lot of conviction in things that I know I like to turn around and teach. And it's been across the board, whether that was with music or my corporate job in railroading, or even now with marketing. So I love that you said that, because I hadn't seen that connection before, in that even though I'm switching what I'm doing to the outside world, I'm carrying that piece and that quality through. And that's what gets to shine in that new role.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
if you could offer, because I love to give the audience, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot here with this one. So but it came to me, and I love inspired action. I like to give the audience something that they can take away and start doing right now that
Mhm.
can help them in their business. So, is there something that you could give creative people right now that they could really harness this, instead of letting it give them the squirrel brain or the shiny object syndrome?
Well, there's a couple of things, and this is super creative. To me, it's fun. It's really fun. So when I hit a moment where I can't think of maybe a title for a new program, or I can't think of a blog post even, or what I want to, what next podcast I want to put out, or something to that, or, episode.
Mhm.
Or even I just need, for me personally, to have something to give me that adrenaline rush again, because I'm kind of hitting like a slump where I just, because we go, 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 go. And then we're like, crash.
Yes.
Okay. So here's the kind of silly, but I think it's fun. I take my name, and of course, what, 6 letters, but I take my name and I take each letter of my name and I think of something that I can do. And we'll use the example of, just to kind of challenge me, put me out my side of my comfort zone again. And it doesn't have to be business related, because that will actually inspire you in other areas,
Mm.
right? So this
Mm.
morning I actually did this. Let me see if I can find it so I can remember the ones that I did this morning. Okay, so if we take my name,
Yeah.
the J. All right. I used to train in jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and thank you, COVID, and a move that I'm not currently training. But that was something I wrote down because it always pushes me. Right.
Yeah.
And it's always, or something similar to it. Then I wrote down archery. I haven't shot archery since I was a little kid, because my dad was really good at it and I sucked at it. And I'm not saying I want to go do it, but this was just my practice, that I was just throwing these things out there, these random ideas.
Ooh.
The why was yoga. Well, yes, I like yoga to a point, but for me, I get bored, so I have to find something different. A number of years ago, I did what's it called, trapeze yoga, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool. There are these yoga swing thingies, but anyways, and it was a challenge because it was different and it got me out of my comfort zone. I had to go back to a beginner mindset, things like that. Um, I wrote down crocheting, which I really don't like doing, but I did it as a teenager. And I'm like, I don't know. So it was just silliness almost, but it was just this
Yeah.
fun experience. And then actually the other thing I wrote down was invigorating and explore, which aren't exactly specific activities. So then I think, well, what's invigorating? And the first thing that popped into my head was something number of years ago that I was involved in. I lived in Panama City Beach for about 6 months,
Mm.
and it crossed into New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And I had made friends with some people there. And so anyway, so they did the, what do you call it? Where they plunge into the ocean, on New Year's Day, right? I
Oh.
didn't do it, but that was something like, well, that would be invigorating. So it's just that kind of idea, just walking through those things, but you can do it with titles, you know, and use your letters just to inspire you that you've got to come up with something that starts with that letter.
Yeah. Oh, what a fun idea. I'm totally doing that later on today with my name,
Oh,
guys.
I'm going to
Who
challenge
else?
you to post it, Lindsay. I want to see it.
Ooh,
Share it
all
with
right.
us.
I'm gonna write it down. I'm writing down name right now, so you can hold me accountable. Who else is gonna do it? Put me in the comments if you're like, yes, 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 I am gonna do that as well. Just put me. Doug says my family says I'm nuts. Elisa says, especially my husband thinks I can't make up my mind. Jessica, I minored in 4 things because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to major in. So you guys, you are in good company here, because apparently I'm going to now self-diagnose myself as highly creative after talking with Jaycie. And before you guys jump off, she has a very special gift for you guys today. And you're going to want, if this is something that interests you, you're going to want to jump on it. Because like I said, I am streaming this in multiple places, and you're not going to want to miss out. And Nancy just got on and said, "What are you asking us to do?" Uh, Nancy, go back and watch the replay. The short story is to take your name and come up with activities or ideas that pop into your head along with each letter of your name. But you're going to want to go see the whole beginning of this, because it's more involved than that. But all right, listen up to what we've got. What is it, the free gift that you have for us today?
Well, if you need that conversation, you need to find some clarity or how you can do that and not have all these ideas and think, oh my gosh, because in the business coaching world, right, we constantly are told we have to niche down one thing. So how can we focus on one thing and feel like we don't have to throw everything else away? So just to get that conversation started and connect with somebody that gets you, that totally understands with you, I'm absolutely willing to jump on the phone or FaceTime or messenger chat, whatever. And, we'll spend 20, 30 minutes and just have a conversation about it and start to help you line out and map out what steps you should take to get there.
Awesome. So if you guys want that, put call, the word call, CALL, in the comments so that she knows and you guys can get connected. And I assume it's not for everybody. Like, so you can't just take all the people who watch these replays.
No, that's true. Yes. So we're going to have to limit that to the first 4 people.
Okay.
I just picked a random number, you guys.
Yeah. So she's a business coach, right? And we have busy schedules. I don't know about you, but I live and die by my calendar, because if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen. So if you want to get on her calendar, okay, you're gonna. Doug's already like, I'm in. You're gonna
Awesome.
want to put call. Lisa's in. You definitely have found your people here, for sure.
Fantastic.
I had such a great time speaking with you the other day. We actually met together in we were attending the same virtual event. And so we got connected that way. And this is how amazing the online marketing and business space is because you really can connect with other people who I would have never met you, maybe.
Right.
But probably not.
Right.
And we got connected, and I was like, instantly, we get on the phone and I'm like, oh my gosh, she gets me. Like, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's known me my whole life. So you guys are not going to regret jumping on the phone with Jaycie here. And if you guys jumped on late, go back when we're done. I will be posting the replay for this video, because there were some really good nuggets in there for you guys. So anything else that you want to say before we go today? I'm going to let the audience get back to business.
Just don't be afraid to be the crazy person that you are, because you're not alone. Because what we have inside of us, all these ideas, if we don't get them out there, we're really doing a disservice to others. Whatever's coming in that really gets you excited, it's what we're meant to do. So yes, we have to figure out, well, how do we focus on one thing to really make it successful? Because if you're completely scattered, constantly and consistently scattered, then your success will be constantly and consistently scattered. So we have to focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we're at. So anyways, but thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for tuning in today. I hope this was valuable, and let me know, you guys, if you got on here because you got the text message from me. I've started playing around with my texting software. If you're not on my text list and you want to be on there so you never miss out on one of these awesome interviews or trainings that I do, just go ahead and put text below, and then I'll shoot you the number so you can jump on there. I don't text you every day. I text you when I got something good for you. So if that worked for you, though, because I think I got more people on here than usual, let me know, because I'm checking that out. I hope you guys have a fantastic Monday. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week. Bye.